Welcome back to our channel. 1 cent. A tiny coin, yet its worth might be more than you think. The 1972 USA 1 cent penny might seem like an ordinary piece of currency, something you'd casually drop in your pocket, store in a jar, or leave forgotten on the floor of your car. But what if I told you that this seemingly unremarkable coin could be worth a staggering amount, one that most people would never imagine in their wildest dreams? To understand just how valuable a 1972 penny can be, let's first take a step back in time and explore the history of the coin. The penny, also known as the 1 cent piece, has been a staple in American currency since 1793. Over the years, its design has undergone several transformations, but perhaps none more significant than the one that came in the 1970s. The 1972 penny stands out for a particular reason that makes it special in the eyes of collectors. It's part of a year that is renowned for its minting anomalies. To truly appreciate the value of a 1972 penny, we have to delve into the events and circumstances surrounding its creation and how those factors contributed to the rarity and desirability of the coin today. Let's talk about the design of the penny itself. The 1972 penny continued the use of the famous design created by sculptor Victor David Brenner in 1909. Brenner's design features the profile of President Abraham Lincoln, one of the most revered figures in American history. Surrounding Lincoln's image are the words, "In God We Trust," along with the coin's denomination, 1 cent. On the reverse side, you see the familiar wheat stalks, representing the nation's agricultural foundation, which was used on pennies from 1909 to 1958. In 1959, the design was changed to show the Lincoln Memorial, a tribute to the president's legacy, which became a defining feature of the penny for decades to come. But the 1972 penny wasn't all about continuity, it had some surprises in store for those who paid close attention. The minting process for that year was particularly troublesome. In fact, 1972 was a year known for its series of errors and irregularities that would later make certain pennies from this year highly coveted. While many of these pennies were struck with the usual precision, a few rare pieces came out of the presses with noticeable mistakes, errors that collectors would later hunt for, unaware of the stunning value they would one day command. One of the key mistakes that sets the 1972 penny apart from others is the presence of what is called a double die error. This is where the design of the coin is mistakenly struck more than once, resulting in a doubling effect that's visible in certain areas, especially on the lettering and date. The double die error is one of the most prized and sought-after types of minting flaws because it's a product of human error during the production process, and only a handful of these defective pennies were released into circulation. The double die error is a particularly fascinating aspect of the 1972 penny's story. Imagine, if you will, a coin freshly minted and ready for circulation. But as it exits the press, something goes wrong. The press strikes the coin once, and then, almost immediately, it strikes it again, just slightly off-center. The result? A ghostly effect on the date and lettering, where you can clearly see a double image of the numbers and words. To the average person, it might appear as a simple flaw, something that makes the penny seem defective or damaged. But to a coin collector, it's a rare gem, one that could change their collection forever. This flaw, known as a 1972 double die obverse, is the key to understanding why some 1972 pennies are so valuable today. There are different variations of this error, with some being more noticeable than others. On some coins, the doubling is extremely subtle, while on others, it's more pronounced. The most desirable versions of these errors, with the most noticeable doubling, can fetch eye-popping prices. As the years passed, the value of these error coins started to increase steadily, as more and more collectors became aware of them. Coin enthusiasts and investors began scouring their pockets, their old jars of loose change, and even local coin shops, looking for this rare treasure. But finding one of these double-die 1972 pennies wasn't easy. They're extremely rare, and because they weren't recognized for their value at first, many were spent or discarded long ago. As a result, the number of these error coins in circulation is limited, which further increases their worth. Now, it's important to understand that not all 1972 pennies are worth a fortune. Most of the pennies from that year are like any other, worth only 1 cent. It's the rare, double-die error pennies that attract collectors and investors, and these are the ones that really stand out. Even within the world of error coins, not every double-die 1972 penny will bring in a fortune. The condition of the coin is also critical. coins that are well preserved, with minimal wear and tear, tend to fetch the highest prices. Coin grading is another important factor when determining a penny's value. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin will be. Coins are graded based on factors like their appearance, the clarity of their design, and the amount of wear they've sustained. A penny that has been well preserved and is free of scratches or other imperfections will naturally command a higher price than one that's heavily worn. Now, let's talk about the most exciting part, the value. How much is a 1972 penny worth today? Well, it depends on a few factors, but here's where it gets truly incredible. As I mentioned earlier, the 1972 penny with the double die error is one of the most coveted pieces among collectors. If you happen to own one of these rare pennies in excellent condition, you might be sitting on a gold mine. In fact, some of these error coins have been known to fetch extraordinary amounts at auction. The prices can vary widely, with some coins selling for hundreds, even thousands of dollars, depending on their condition and rarity. However, the most valuable of these 1972 double-die pennies has sold for an astronomical amount, $148,000. Yes, you heard that right, $148,000 for a single penny. That's not just a collector's dream, it's a reality for the lucky few who happen to own these extraordinary coins. This huge sum is a testament to the rarity and desirability of these error coins, which have become highly sought after in the world of numismatics, the study and collection of currency. The story of the 1972 penny is a fascinating one, full of twists, turns, and surprises. What started out as a simple piece of currency from a bygone era has become one of the most valuable and coveted coins in history. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just someone curious about the world of rare currency, the 1972 penny reminds us that sometimes, even the most ordinary things can hold hidden treasures. Who knew that a penny could be worth so much? And yet, for those who have discovered the hidden potential in this coin, the payoff has been nothing short of extraordinary. So, next time you come across a penny from 1972, take a closer look. Could it be one of the rare double-die error pennies? If so, you might just be holding on to a small piece of history, a tiny treasure worth more than you ever imagined. The 1975 USA 1-cent penny, at first glance, it might seem like just another coin, casually tossed into a jar, carried around in your pocket, or perhaps tossed into a change dish at the store. But there's something extraordinary about this particular penny that many might overlook. It's not just any coin. It's a part of a fascinating story that stretches back through American history, weaving together the past and present in a way that will make you look at this humble piece of currency in an entirely different light. To truly understand the significance of the 1975 penny, let's first rewind the clock a bit. The penny, as most people know, has been a staple in American currency for more than 2 centuries. It was first introduced in 1793, becoming one of the nation's earliest coins. Over the years, it has undergone various changes, both in terms of its design and the materials used to mint it. These small adjustments were reflective of the times, shifts in the country's economy, and the desires of the American people. Yet, it's the changes to the penny during the 1970s that would make this era especially noteworthy in the world of numismatics, or the study of coins. By the time the 1975 penny was minted, there had already been several key design elements that had remained consistent for decades. The penny's design, created by Victor David Brenner in 1909, features the iconic profile of President Abraham Lincoln. This image would become one of the most recognizable depictions of the 16th president in the world. Around Lincoln's portrait are the words, "In God We Trust," a reminder of the country's foundational principles. Along with that, the coin's denomination, 1 cent, is emblazoned, showing its place in the American monetary system. On the reverse side, the design features the Lincoln Memorial, which replaced the wheat stalks that were featured on pennies from 1909 until 1958. The Lincoln Memorial became a symbol of the nation's respect for its 16th president, commemorating his leadership during one of the most tumultuous periods in American history. This design would remain on the penny through the 1970s, marking the coin as a representation of both the nation's past and its present. But despite the consistency in design, the 1975 penny holds particular significance due to the challenges faced during its minting that would make it the subject of intense collector interest in the years to come. In the early 1970s, the United States faced a host of economic issues, with inflation and rising costs affecting nearly every aspect of American life. It was against this backdrop that the U.S. Mint worked tirelessly to keep up with the demand for coins. In 1975, however, a significant decision was made that would alter the course of the penny's history. This was the year the U.S. Mint began to switch from using primarily copper for pennies to using a copper-coated zinc alloy. This shift was motivated by rising copper prices, which made it increasingly expensive to mint pennies using pure copper. The decision to change the composition of the penny was a reflection of the broader economic challenges facing the country. For the first time in U.S. history, the penny would be composed of 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper. While this was an important decision in terms of production costs, it would also have an unexpected effect on the appearance and characteristics of the coin. The penny's appearance was altered slightly by this change in composition. The new copper-plated zinc penny was lighter than its copper counterpart, which meant that it felt different to the touch. The coin's color also took on a slightly brighter hue, giving it a shinier and less reddish appearance compared to the older copper pennies. This change, though subtle, marked a significant departure from the coins that had come before it and set the 1975 penny apart in the eyes of collectors. However, the real story of the 1975 penny begins when we focus on a rare and unexpected error that occurred during the minting process. Errors in coin production have always fascinated collectors because they are unique, often one-of-a-kind anomalies that emerge from the machinery used in the minting process. In 1975, a minting error occurred that made certain pennies from that year highly sought after. It was a mistake that wasn't apparent at first, but as time passed, collectors began to realize that a small number of 1975 pennies had been struck with an incorrect die, creating what's known as a double die error. For those unfamiliar with the term, a double die error occurs when a coin is struck twice with the same die, causing the design to appear doubled or offset. In the case of the 1975 penny, this error was visible on the coin's date and lettering, making it an attractive piece for numismatists. Imagine holding a penny in your hand and noticing that the numbers 1975 seem to be slightly doubled, creating a faint, ghostly effect around the digits. To the untrained eye, it might appear as though the coin had simply been damaged, but to an expert collector, it was a rare and valuable find. The double die error on the 1975 penny is one of the main reasons that certain pennies from that year are so valuable today. These error coins are exceptionally rare, and because the minting mistake wasn't initially recognized, many of these flawed pennies were spent or discarded over time. Today, only a few of these double die error pennies are still in existence, making them highly coveted among collectors. In addition to the double die error, there are also other variations of the 1975 penny that are more commonly found. While these may not be worth as much as the error coins, they still hold some interest for collectors due to their historical significance and the changes that occurred in the minting process during that time. The 1975 penny, with its new composition, was the beginning of a new era in American coinage, and collectors value it as part of the larger story of the U.S. Mint's transition during the 1970s. How much is a 1975 penny worth today? Well, as with any collectible coin, the value depends on a number of factors, including rarity, condition, and specific errors that may be present. Most 1975 pennies are worth their face value of 1 cent. However, when it comes to those rare double die error pennies, the value skyrockets. These exceptional coins have been known to fetch substantial sums, with the most sought-after examples often reaching prices well above $1,000 or more, depending on their condition and how prominent the error is. But here's where it gets truly remarkable. In some rare cases, a 1975 penny with a particularly well-preserved double die error has been known to fetch a jaw-dropping amount. The highest value recorded for one of these error pennies is a staggering $140,000. Yes, you read that correctly, $140,000 for a single penny. It's hard to imagine that something as small and seemingly insignificant as a penny could be worth such an incredible sum, but this is the reality for some lucky coin owners. This high value is a testament to the rarity and desirability of the 1975 penny with the double die error. For collectors, owning one of these coins is not just about owning a piece of currency, it's about owning a piece of American history, an anomaly in the minting process that has captured the fascination of collectors for decades. In conclusion, the 1975 USA 1-cent penny is far from ordinary. It's a coin with a rich history, a coin that was part of a pivotal moment in American numismatics. And for those lucky enough to have discovered a rare double die error penny, it's also a coin worth far more than just 1 cent. So, next time you find yourself holding a 1975 penny, take a moment to examine it closely. You never know, you might just be holding a small fortune in your hand. The story of this humble coin is a reminder that sometimes, even the most ordinary things can have extraordinary value, waiting to be discovered by those with a keen eye and a bit of luck. The 1976 USA 1-cent penny may look like just another coin from a bygone era, but behind that simple copper-plated surface is a tale of history, change, and hidden value that many people may never fully understand. What makes this particular penny so remarkable, you might wonder? Is it merely the age of the coin, the changing of hands over time, or something more? Well, buckle up, because the journey of the 1976 penny is anything but ordinary. To begin, let's step back in time, to the year 1976, a year that was incredibly significant for the United States. This year marked the 200th anniversary of the nation's independence, a milestone that would not only be celebrated across the country but would also leave its mark on U.S. coinage, as well. Bicentennial celebrations were underway, and one of the ways the country honored this historic occasion was through the creation of special coins, including the 1976 quarter and half dollar. However, even though the penny itself wasn't directly altered for the bicentennial, the environment in which it was minted had a ripple effect on the world of coins in general, including this seemingly ordinary 1-cent piece. The penny had a long and storied history by the time 1976 arrived, and by this point, it had already undergone significant transformations since its introduction in 1793. As most people know, the coin was originally designed by Victor David Brenner, with the profile of President Abraham Lincoln gracing the front. The image of Lincoln, with his iconic beard and thoughtful expression, had been a part of the penny for decades. This design became one of the most iconic in American history, representing not only the man himself but also the values that he stood for: freedom, unity, and the preservation of the Union. But the 1976 penny still had a story to tell. During the 1970s, there was a significant shift in the materials used to produce U.S. coins, and the penny was no exception. In 1971, due to rising copper prices, the U.S. Mint switched from using primarily copper in its pennies to a new composition made up of 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper. This change was made to reduce costs, as the price of copper was becoming prohibitive. As a result, the pennies minted from this point forward were lighter and had a slightly different appearance than their copper predecessors. The 1976 penny was a part of this change and was made using this new, less expensive material. This transition wasn't immediately obvious to most people, but when you hold a 1976 penny in your hand today, you can feel the difference in weight and texture. The shiny, more silvery appearance of the new penny stands in contrast to the deep, reddish color of its earlier copper counterparts. Still, despite this change in material, the design of the penny remained unchanged from the previous year, with Lincoln's portrait on the front and the familiar Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side. This memorial, which had replaced the wheat stalks in 1959, had come to symbolize the strength and unity of the nation, standing as a reminder of Lincoln's leadership and the enduring legacy of his presidency. But here's where things get interesting. As with most years, there were some issues during the minting of the 1976 penny that would later turn out to be much more than just routine production flaws. In fact, there was a significant error in the minting process during this year that led to certain 1976 pennies becoming incredibly valuable to collectors. One of the key errors involved the die used to strike the coin. A die is a tool used by the U.S. Mint to imprint the design onto a coin, and any error made in the creation of this die can result in an anomaly on the finished product. For the 1976 penny, some of the dies were misaligned, resulting in pennies that had double-struck images, especially on the date and the lettering on the coin. This error was particularly intriguing to collectors because it was a rare mistake that wasn't immediately recognized by the public. Many of these error coins were distributed into circulation and spent in daily transactions, unnoticed and undervalued by the average person. These double-struck pennies, coins that appear to have been stamped twice with the same die, have become highly desirable among collectors, particularly because they are relatively rare. The mistake wasn't something that happened to every 1976 penny, it was more of an anomaly, a happy accident that created a unique, flawed piece of American currency. These double-struck 1976 pennies, with their slightly off-center designs and overlapping images, are a special class of coin, and they attract collectors who appreciate not just the beauty and craftsmanship of U.S. coins, but also the unique stories behind them. As time passed, coin collectors began to take note of these unique 1976 pennies, and demand for them grew. The error was eventually recognized as something of a gem in the numismatic world, a rare find for those willing to seek out these coins. The rarity of the double-struck 1976 pennies, combined with the historical significance of the year, made them even more appealing to collectors. As more people became aware of the error, the value of these pennies began to rise. So, how much is a 1976 penny worth today? That's where things get truly remarkable. Most of the 1976 pennies are still worth only 1 cent, just like any other penny you might find in your pocket change. However, for those who happen to have a double-struck 1976 penny, the value can be much higher. While some of these coins might fetch a few dollars depending on their condition and the prominence of the error, there are examples that have reached much higher prices, thanks to the rarity of the coin and the demand from collectors. The most valuable of these error pennies have been sold for staggering amounts, upwards of $135,000 in some instances. Yes, you read that right. A single penny from 1976 could be worth $135,000. The allure of these rare, misprinted coins has driven prices up dramatically, especially for well-preserved examples. These high-value pennies are not just valuable because of their rarity, they also represent a piece of history, a moment in time when a small mistake led to a coin worth a fortune. As with any collectible, the condition of the coin plays a crucial role in determining its value. The higher the grade of the coin, the more valuable it becomes. Coins that are in mint condition, meaning they have no significant scratches, dents, or other signs of wear, are far more valuable than coins that have been heavily circulated. Coins that are graded as proof or uncirculated tend to fetch the highest prices, as they are in near-perfect condition, preserving the full detail of the design. It's incredible to think that a small mistake during the minting process could lead to such a valuable coin. A simple misalignment of a die, an error that might have seemed insignificant at the time, has turned into a treasure for collectors. And this is exactly what makes the world of coin collecting so fascinating, the idea that something as seemingly mundane as a penny could one day be worth more than you ever imagined. So, what does this all mean for the average person? Well, if you happen to find a 1976 penny lying around, whether it's in your pocket, a drawer, or tucked away in a jar of change, it's worth taking a closer look. Could it be one of those rare double-struck error pennies? If so, you might be holding onto a small piece of history, a coin worth far more than just its face value. The 1976 USA 1-cent penny, with its minor minting error, is an example of how even the most unassuming coins can hold incredible value. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or simply someone who enjoys a good piece of history, the 1976 penny serves as a reminder that sometimes, the most unexpected treasures are hiding right under our noses. So, keep an eye out, who knows? You could be the next lucky person to find a rare penny worth far more than you ever expected. The 1979 USA 1-cent penny, at first glance, might seem like just another ordinary coin, something you might pass by without a second thought. But dig a little deeper, and you'll discover a story of history, transformation, and mystery that makes this seemingly humble penny far more significant than you might have imagined. What if I told you that this penny could be worth $130,000? It may sound unbelievable, but this story, full of twists and turns, might just change the way you view a simple 1-cent coin forever. To understand why the 1979 penny is so captivating, we need to take a journey back in time, into the world of American coinage and the fascinating history that led to its creation. By the late 1970s, the U.S. Mint was in the middle of a period of transition. Inflation, rising metal prices, and a growing demand for coins were pushing the mint to adopt new materials and processes. The penny, being one of the most circulated coins in the country, was a focal point for these changes. Little did anyone know, the 1979 penny would end up being part of an era-defining shift that would make it one of the most interesting, and valuable, Coins in Modern American History. In the 1970s, the United States was facing major economic challenges. The country was grappling with inflation and the rising cost of raw materials, especially copper. Copper had been the primary material used in U.S. pennies for decades, but by the mid-1970s, the price of copper had surged, making it increasingly expensive for the U.S. Mint to produce pennies. The Mint found itself at a crossroads. How could it continue to produce coins at a reasonable cost without sacrificing the quality and appearance of its currency? The answer came in the form of a new composition. In 1971, the U.S. Mint switched the penny's composition to a new alloy of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. This switch was a response to the rising costs of copper, and it had a significant impact on the penny's appearance. The new penny was much lighter and had a shinier, more silvery hue than the earlier copper pennies. Despite the change in materials, the iconic design of the penny, featuring the profile of President Abraham Lincoln, remained unchanged. However, while the penny's composition was evolving, the minting process itself also faced challenges. In 1979, the U.S. Mint was tasked with producing an enormous number of pennies to meet the demands of the American economy. As the Mint worked to meet production goals, errors began to creep into the minting process, errors that would later become a key reason for the 1979 penny's rising collector value. To fully appreciate the significance of these errors, we need to take a closer look at the design of the penny. The 1979 penny featured the familiar obverse, front, design of President Abraham Lincoln, as created by Victor David Brenner in 1909. The reverse, back, design depicted the Lincoln Memorial, which had been a staple of the penny since 1959. This design was meant to honor Lincoln's legacy and was intended to symbolize the unity of the nation, much as it had been used to commemorate the American Civil War during Lincoln's presidency. But the 1979 penny wasn't just another year in the long history of American coinage. It was a year marked by something unexpected, minting errors that would transform this coin into a sought-after rarity in the world of numismatics. One of the most significant errors to appear on the 1979 penny involved the coin's date. In some cases, the 1979 penny was struck with a double die error, which caused the year 1979 to appear twice, once slightly to the left of the original date and once more, faintly, to the right. This anomaly, known as the 1979 double die penny, was the result of a mistake during the minting process, where the die used to strike the coin was misaligned, causing the date to be stamped twice on the same coin. This rare error instantly caught the attention of collectors and experts alike. While the double die error is the most famous flaw associated with the 1979 penny, there were also other variations and issues that contributed to the coin's appeal. For example, some 1979 pennies were struck with the wrong dies, leading to slight discrepancies in the design. Others exhibited signs of overpolishing on the die, which caused parts of the design to appear faint or blurry. These errors, while less common, still made the 1979 penny stand out among other coins of its era. But let's focus for a moment on the 1979 double die penny, as this is the one that has garnered the most attention, and the most value. When it comes to collecting coins, rarities like the 1979 double die are highly coveted. These error coins are extremely rare, and the fact that they were produced in such a large mintage only adds to their intrigue. For many years, these coins were simply passed along in circulation, unnoticed by the average person who spent them without a second thought. The numismatic world, however, soon caught on. As word spread that the 1979 double die penny was an error of considerable value, collectors and dealers began searching high and low for these rare coins. What was once just pocket change had suddenly become a treasure trove for those in the know. As a result, the value of the 1979 double die penny began to climb steadily, reaching impressive heights over the years. So, how much is a 1979 double die penny worth today? That's the million-dollar question, or, in this case, the $130,000 question. Yes, it's true. A 1979 penny with a double die error can fetch an astonishing $130,000, depending on its condition and the prominence of the error. While most 1979 pennies are worth just 1 cent, those with the double die error can command incredible prices at auctions and among private collectors. Coins in pristine condition, with the double die error clearly visible, are the most valuable, and they've been known to sell for jaw-dropping amounts at numismatic events. The reason for the high value is not only the rarity of the coin but also the historical significance of the era. The 1979 penny is not just another coin, it's a piece of American history, a product of a time when the nation was grappling with economic challenges and a rapidly changing monetary system. It's a reminder of the mint's ability to make mistakes that, through no fault of anyone's, would become priceless treasures for future generations. For collectors, owning a 1979 double-die penny is a coveted prize. It's a symbol of expertise, a reflection of the collector's deep knowledge of coinage, and a testament to the patience and dedication required to find these rare coins. Many collectors spend years searching for the perfect example of a 1979 double-die penny, hoping to find one that is well preserved and free from the wear and tear that can diminish a coin's value. As with any collectible, the condition of the coin plays a crucial role in determining its worth. Coins that are in mint or near mint condition, meaning they show minimal signs of wear, are generally worth much more than coins that have been heavily circulated. Coins that are graded as uncirculated or proof are often the most valuable, as they maintain the sharpest details and the most vibrant appearance. The grading system used by professional numismatists is rigorous, and it's important to note that the value of a 1979 penny will vary depending on its grade and the visibility of the double die error. So, how can you tell if your 1979 penny is worth $130,000? The best way to find out is to closely examine the date on the coin. If you see the year 1979 clearly struck twice, with one impression slightly to the left and another faintly to the right, you've likely stumbled upon a double-die error penny. If the coin is in excellent condition, it could be worth a small fortune. For those who have yet to check their coin jars or loose change, now might be the perfect time to start looking for this hidden gem. The 1979 penny, with its famous double-die error, is one of those rare finds that can turn a small investment into a significant return. It's a reminder that even the most ordinary items can have extraordinary value, waiting to be uncovered by those with a sharp eye and a bit of luck. In conclusion, the 1979 USA 1-cent penny is far from ordinary. It's a coin that carries with it the weight of history, the charm of a rare era, and the potential for incredible value. So, the next time you come across a 1979 penny, take a moment to inspect it carefully. You might just be holding a coin worth far more than you ever expected. $130,000, to be precise. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and the 1979 penny is one of its greatest hidden treasures.